Hi, I'm Nick, and this is my unboxing of the GM60 digital home theatre projector. If you're wondering about the ambiguous brand name behind this projector, I picked it up for just under $80 from a website called Deal Extreme. So if you check out that website, you'll understand quickly why it doesn't have a brand name and why it was so cheap. So yes, it is a super cheap projector, but is it actually any good? Well, let's take a look. What you get in the box is the projector itself. It is small, lightweight, and comes with a brushed steel look casing with a cool LED which indicates power/data processing. The top of the unit is decorated with alternating arrow keys, which are the power, OK, left and right directional, escape, and OK buttons for manual selections. In the left hand side of the unit is the HDMI port, which is actually upside down, and it really catches you out because you always put it in correctly the first time no matter what. On the side also is a USB and SD slot to play media files. There is also a 5V USB output. This means you can charge your phone while you watch a movie. This might seem a little bit uncouth, but it could be used to charge or power other peripherals such as a game capture card. Lastly, there is an input for RCA cables. A converter is included in the box, and an audio output indicated with a headphone icon, however it is probably more suitable for a speaker system. The front of the unit features the lens, offset to the left hand side with a lens cap. Very nice, however the lens cap's not tethered, and I think I've since lost mine. There is also a little leg here to elevate the projection field, which gives it a surprising range of adjustment up and down. On the right hand side is the keystone and zoom focus dials. The focus has an incredible range of movement, however it does not translate to a huge amount of change in the projection field. I myself have a fixed projector screen and cannot shrink the field enough to actually fit the default size of the projection field onto this. Instead, I have to use the screen adjustment options on the game console I'm using to fit it onto the screen, which is pretty handy unless you are using a console that doesn't have said option. This side of the unit also has the power input. Cable is included. If you're old school, there is a VGA port in the back, and there is also a IR sensor for the remote control which comes with the unit. Now I myself don't use the VGA port, so I pretty much have this projector flush with the wall behind me, but even so the IR sensor is just sensitive enough to almost always be able to pick up this remote control from where I'm sitting. See? There it goes. It just takes a little while to kick in. Boom! On the bottom of the unit is a universal screw mount that fits any standard thread that you might find on a tripod. I haven't explored this option of a ceiling mount, but it looks like it would only have one point of contact if you were to use this from the ceiling. Aside from the power cable, remote and AV adapter which I mentioned earlier, there is a tidy little user guide in the box. I have not read this. So you've probably gathered some of my thoughts about this projector so far, but just to sum it up, here are my pros and cons. Now my pros are that it is cheap for what you get. It is not by any means the be-all and end-all of projectors. But it is cheap, lightweight and easy to use. If you have the space for it, it casts well on a white wall, and even shows up really well when competing with a 50-watt halogen light for dominance over your retina. The unit contains an LED bulb which puts out 1000 lumens. I don't know what that means, but I like to say lumens. 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 Lumens! No more lumens. To put this in perspective, a high-end projector with a brand like Epsom, which starts at about 10 times the cost of this unit, only has 2 to 3 times the amount of lumens. That's not that many more lumens. And my cons are that it is noisy. And this is where a high-end projector would probably have the advantage, because it would have some kind of system of muffling that fan. So if you're using this projector to watch like a chilled out movie or play a game with a huge stealth element to it, such as like Breath of the Wild, you probably won't enjoy it as much using this unless you're using a headset along with it. The hum of that fan I think can be quite distracting when you're trying to watch a movie with a group of people and focus on what people are actually saying in the movie. Further cons are the elevation screw. Now while I did mention it does have a lot of range up and down, there is only one screw and it's kind of in the middle, whereas the lens is offset to the side. So if you have an unlevel surface that you have it on, you're actually going to find that the whole image is off center. There is no way of leveling that out because there are no legs on either side. So the verdict. If you think that this is a projector that you would use on occasion, such as an alternative TV, if you needed to display something to a larger audience, like say a party game at a party or an event, then by all means, go for this. It is cheap, it is easy to set up, easy to use. It works with all of the current generations of consoles as far as I'm aware. Hopefully it works with the Nintendo Switch because this is what this setup is for. And it means that I don't need to take up a whole lot of space with having an extra TV or monitor down here. I can just cast it at one of these walls, which will work really well, but I've actually got a screen which works perfectly well as well. At the end of the day, it was a really cheap product. It took about 3 weeks to ship here, which isn't bad considering it came from the Netherlands, which is a weird story. I'll probably put that in the comments. And last of all, I'm actually really impressed with the overall image quality that you get from an $80 projector. So I'm not going to complain about that at all. Anyway, that wraps up the video. That's the review and the unboxing. If you have any further questions, any concerns, if you have an experience with DL Extreme and you want to talk about that, feel free to drop that down in the comments. And keep an eye out for my next unboxing, which is scheduled for about a week from now, just under a week from now, which is going to be the Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. So if you're keen to see that, please feel free to subscribe. And thanks for watching.
Oh, don't worry. I'm very satisfied. What world do you live in where a movie ticket is more expensive than an $80 projector? Sheesh! Oh guys, wait. Oh man, I need an HDMI cable right now. Exquisite and realistic image, such as be personally on the scene. Oh yeah, I feel like I'm on the scene alright.